Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? G Newton here. So, I recently applied to a bunch of places, and one of the places I'm going to talk about is McDonald's. So, I have applied to this McDonald's for about the past 2 years. I have been there twice, dropped off my resume multiple times. I've been to multiple McDonald's, right? And this is just in general when looking for jobs. Now, I live in a small city. It's not that small. It's not that way far away from the city. I would say like the suburbs, something like that. And I don't know if it's just me. I just find it harder to get a job here compared to the big city. Anyway, I think I'm going off topic just a little bit. My point is that the job market is absolutely cooked. It's just ridiculous, honestly. I have probably applied to every store possible that a teenager could possibly apply to near my local mall. You know what I mean? And I see kids every other weekend, even during the weekdays, going to the mall to drop off resumes and they just get denied on the spot, denied. Fast food chains, denied. Um, Freaking places where you go to buy clothes is denied. GameStop denied. It's just all over the place. These guys just giving up. I remember one time I was waiting at the bus stop to go to that mall exactly, to my local mall. And I find some guy's resume. And just based off looking at his resume, there was just piles of it just stacking near the bus stop, near the garbage. And I think it was just clear that he probably gave up or said, screw this. I can't do this anymore. You know what I mean? I have been on the job hunt for about, I'm going to say since 2023, maybe late 2022, early 2023. I have found like a few jobs, but I couldn't keep them because my employers had to leave. And shout out to them. I'm thankful that I got some sort of jobs. You know what I mean? Even if I just worked a little bit and they didn't let me off because I was a bad worker or I didn't do my job properly. They let me off because they had personal issues and stuff to do and their business weren't doing so well. You know what I mean? So that is sad to see. I have a friend at school who actually used to work at a pizza place. He worked there. He worked at that pizza place at my local mall since I'm gonna say like late grade nine. He was telling me about how he was so happy to get a job. I remember too when he announced it to my friends and everyone on my class. He just seemed so happy to get this job. You know what I mean? I used to occasionally pop up there when I used to go to the mall when I actually used to have money, like some pocket money. And it just used to be good to see him working, you know what I mean, with his coworkers and all that. Although I would say that the pizza is expensive. It was expensive. It's even more expensive now than it was before. And then he had to get laid off because the mall was just insanely taxing the store and the property. Apparently, it was due to some space issues in terms of like how much space they had. So they had to cut some stuff. Like they literally had to move the store. They had to do renovations and stuff. So, money's money, rent's rent. You gotta pay it tomorrow. I understand. And yeah, he got laid off. And I remember him telling me that one of his coworkers that he was pretty close with had a wedding and he needed money for that wedding still. That was his only job and he had a wedding right around the corner. It's just sad seeing all of this happening. My God, man. It's just so demotivating. And yeah, he finally got laid off eventually, I would say like in mid 2024. He tried reapplying and he just said that a bunch of immigrants just came in and took over. Um and I have nothing against immigrant. My parents were immigrants. Okay, I have a lot of friends that are immigrants. I have nothing against immigrants. Um, I'm just saying, like, we gotta give these young people a chance to get a job. If the government's saying that, yeah, there's jobs available, oh, just get a job. It's not so easy. You can't just go outside and get a job. Not unless you have 3 to 5 years experience. How the heck is a 18, 17-year old gonna get 3 to 5 years experience if it's an entry level job? This is the entry level job. I am the experience. I'm going there to get that experience. Like, why would you possibly need? Like, they should be looking for young people. We are willing to put in the work. I feel like we're willing to put in the work more than ever before, especially in this times of like hardship. Like, I at some point, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want a job at first. I was nervous applying to jobs and stuff. And even though my mother would tell me go get a job, I'm like, no, I don't want to. But she forced me, so I said, okay, I will. And that's what I did. But I just did the bare minimum. Now that I'm getting close to graduating school, I'm telling myself, okay, now I'm really motivated to get a job. You know what I mean? That anxiety is no longer there. It's just the worst time. It's like when I want to be an adult, the world or the job market decides to be like crap. It's just absolutely crap. Like, why can't I just have a job, man? And it's just, this goes for many, 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 many other young people around my age and who are in college or high school. And just, is it, I just ask myself, is it the managers that don't want these younger gen kids, these Gen Z kids? Because we're like, it's just not fair, dude. It's just not fair. Not to mention, I actually did apply to a job early last week. So I'm talking like Monday. I applied online to McDonald's. I tried to drop my resume in my local McDonald's. The lady told me that they weren't accepting physical resumes. I personally think that's ridiculous. Stores should definitely take physical resumes because it's just traditional, applying to a job. Like, it's normal. Why don't they accept that? I don't know why. But aside from that, um I said okay. She seemed like a nice person. She said do it from the app. I said okay. I downloaded the app. I got home, opened the app, downloaded it from the app store. When I opened it, it was a bit tedious. They were asking me weird questions, and I feel like it was an AI chatbot. And you know how companies nowadays like to use AI chatbots to verify for to see if you're like the right candidate. And luckily, I'm like, okay, maybe I won't get it, maybe I won't. To my surprise, I actually got a notification saying that they reviewed my resume. So I'm like, hooray, okay, they're reviewing my resume. And once they were reviewing, I got an email saying what date would I like to have my schedule at. And I put the 18th. Now, the 18th was on, what was it, on Wednesday. So I said, okay, yeah, Wednesday sounds good. I'm like, yes, let's go. And like a job interview, like some sort of light in this darkness, you know what I mean? And I went there. And when I went there, sorry, I was on the phone to confirm the date. So I put that. And the day came and they said I got another SMS notification saying that in a few hours you would have your job interview. So I said, okay, that's fine. Not even an hour later after that notification, it tells me that they decided to not hire me, to not go through with my interview. How am I supposed to compete with this market? This is impossible. I can't get a job. I'm literally going to college in a few months, and you're telling me I can't get a job? It's ridiculous. It's generally ridiculous. I don't see why they like why. Just why I just feel like complaining to these people. But then again, will it really change anything? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. And that's all I wanted to do. Is just a small rant slash argument. If you guys have any similar experiences or having trouble getting a job, why don't you just comment down below your story or a short paragraph? I want to hear you guys' like experiences with the job market because this is just insane.